Hey, I'm Mzansi and welcome to Farmers Inside Track episode 157. I'm your host, Donumdu. Now, insurance covers you against volatility and uncertainty, but unfortunately, according to Liché Strydom, the product developer at King Price Insurance, there are many misconceptions around it, but he believes that it is a big part of farmers' risk management framework. He joins us now to share some more on this and why farmers can never overlook incorporating an insurance plan into their agribusiness from day one. Liché, welcome to Farmers Inside Track. I think I met you when we were busy with the Agricultural Career Roadshow. It was an absolute pleasure to work with you on that. And I mean, you're very passionate about what you do. Tell us more about your work at King Price.
Thanks for having me. My journey with King Price has started, I think it's like a year and a half ago now. Yeah, I do the product development there. So basically, what I focus on is to provide solutions to farmers that is sustainable, and that's actually, at the end of the day with insurance and stuff, price talks. And the landscape of farming has changed so much since the start of insurance. And to bring new solutions to farmers, that's what my passion is. That's what I like to do. And I've heard that there's 2.5 million farmers, not commercial farmers, just normal farmers. And I am actually working towards that. I want to tackle that market and give them solutions, because at the end of the day it's security, and basically what insurance is doing is covering you against volatility and uncertainty. I think a lot of people have a misperception about insurance. Insurance should be a big part of your risk management framework. It's something that we don't really cover a lot. I've been to a couple of conferences and stuff, and it's something that's never touched on, this risk management, how you protect your risk. And I mean, especially if you're a small little farmer, you don't necessarily have the capacity to, let's say, to absorb losses, massive losses. You are so cash strapped. It's a small little premium that you're paying. I'm saying small little premium that you're paying for absolute future security, if that makes sense.
Now, I definitely think that farmers should sort of shift their focus towards thinking about, like you're saying, the premium that you pay now will help you if the inevitable happens.
Yes.
And I think in today's time, the climate change and all the risks that's involved in terms of it's such a volatile space, like you say, to kind of build your life around and your business around. So I think it's really important that farmers incorporate it from day one. Maybe if you can just explain what is available, especially for a new entrant. You guys offer specific packages for that. Maybe you can just break it down for us. What should farmers be thinking about?
First thing that you need to go and actually consider is, what is your most valuable asset? For a lot of these farmers, it is their crops. That's the biggest asset that they have, or they might have a tractor. Any risk management journey begins with a single step. There's a Johnny Walker that says that every journey starts with a single step. And I think that's the same thing. There's a misperception that you always have to take massive cover or the best or the most comprehensive cover, and there's options out there. And I mean, that's where we come in, and we want to go and say, okay, but if you can only afford a certain peril, then pay for that peril. If you feel that, let's use an example, you are scared that your farm is going to burn down, so you want to just insure your fire, the fire as a peril, then you can absolutely do that. People need to start understanding it's better to have some cover than no cover. I mean, if you can't afford, let's say, 1,000 Rand a month, I mean, there's ways to bring down your premium with voluntary excesses or limiting cover. Like I said in the beginning now, it's better to have some cover than no cover. I think that's the first step. And then, as a consumer, I want an insurer to evolve with me and my farming journey, and that actually understands my practice. And I think that's something that at King Price, that's what we want to do. We want to know, what is this guy's operational ability? What is the new trends? What are people doing? How can we help them? How can we do this? How can we do that? That forward-looking mindset is actually something that's a little bit lacking in our industry, if that makes sense. If I can give anybody advice, is to just start your insurance journey somewhere. And one thing that I've really noticed, if I can just take one step back, is for the whole supply value chain, I think insurance is playing a massive role, in a sense that if a bank is giving you a loan or a microfinancer is giving you a loan, then they also want some type of security. And if you have insurance, that provides the security that they have. I don't want to say it needs to be forced upon. That's definitely not what I'm trying to get at. But I think it's something that People always see insurance as this grudge purchase, where it's actually a risk mitigate. That's what it is. You're transferring your risk from someone else, to the insurer, and you're paying a premium. Let's use a practical example. We had a claim 4 or 5 months ago where it was a harvester, it was a cotton picker, and it cost 13 million, I think, and it burned down. It was insured to King Price for, I think it was 5 days in total, if I'm not mistaken, and we paid it. I mean, that guy, he paid let's say, 1,000 rand premium, but he experienced a 13 million rand loss, and that's what he got paid out. And his loss got covered. I mean, if you think about it in a smaller scale, the same can happen. Not everybody can have a 13 million rand harvester or picker or whatever you want to call it. But I feel that, I mean, there's some equipment maybe that you have that's vital to your business. If you lose that, you have nothing. And I think that's something that people need to consider and just think about.
I think it's definitely a more holistic approach in terms of what do I do to ensure that my business survives? What do I do to ensure that despite, the fact that I may only have a little bit, I can make that little bit go a long way. So if something happens, there's a way for me to come back from any kind of loss. Because I think that's a very difficult part. If a hailstorm comes now, I lose my entire crop. What do I have? I have nothing because I literally planted my money in the ground.
I'm just sitting with the debt. And I mean, a lot of these people, they are sitting with the debt of the input cost that they needed to pump into the ground. And the hail came, knocked everything over, didn't have insurance. Now I sit with nothing except if I'm sitting with the debt that I still need to repay. And I think that's where the issue sometimes comes in, and where people, I always want to say there's a stigma that people, they're scared of insurance for some reason. But I mean, I always tell people, if you do the right thing, you'll never have an issue of insurance. I think it's an integral part, especially for a small-scale farmer that can't really absorb those losses. There's these mega commercial farmers, they can absorb a lot more loss. And we know that, but these guys are a little bit more vulnerable. And I think it's something of South Africa. We lack a little bit of an insurance culture. We don't see insurance as this high priority thing.
Does it make your job difficult working in the agricultural space?
Yes and no. I think yes, that we are seeing trends, if I can go to the commercial farmer, that they are more willing to absorb a lot more risk. I think that's where they are moving towards. They're moving towards taking on a lot more risk and keeping the money one aside, almost like a self-insurance fund. And that's something that we also provide, which we see as highly effective, especially with the commercial farmers. And something that is a challenge, definitely, in agriculture is where we are at today, is for the smaller scale farmers. Because I understand why they're not in the insurance, because a lot of the times it's not affordable. It's not something that they can really afford right now. But like I said, there are solutions to, rather than taking on 100% of the risk, because now you're not insuring, by maybe just taking or bearing 50% of the risk is better than still 100%. And there's solutions for that. I think that us as an industry, I don't want to say from King Price's side, I think from an industry side, I think we need to make things a little bit more affordable, a little bit more, not just everybody just fighting for the 35,000 commercial farmers that we have in South Africa, but for the smaller guys as well, to give a sustainable solution. That's easy to understand. I think that's the first thing, is to make it easy to understand, to make it affordable, and to make it accessible. That's absolutely crucial from our part. That's a responsibility that we have, but it's a nice challenge. I like challenges.
I think that's definitely a shift that the financing industry, your company and others like it, is also kind of thinking towards that, because we can't do things the way we did it a few years ago. Business is changing, how we operate is changing.
Definitely. The business landscape and the whole world is changing at such a rapid pace. It's actually amazing. If you take it 30 years ago, there's some risks that they've never really considered it. But now we are, I don't want to say plagued by it, but we are faced with it.
Plague is a good word, if you think about it. But let's talk more about maybe steps. So if I'm a new farmer, I've now listened to you, what is the next step?
We like to work through insurance brokers. That's our preferred channel. And you can send an email to agri@kingprice.co.za. We can hook you up with a broker. The first step is also to see, okay, listen, these are the assets that I want to insure. These are critical to my business for me to survive. I can't go without my pivot or my shed. And then let's help you to build a solution that you can afford and that makes financial sense to you. I think that's a critical part. I always tell people with insurance, you're insuring against uncertainty. That's what you are doing. I can't tell you, listen, your farm is definitely going to burn down or there's something going to happen to this thing. People are always glad they have insurance when something has happened.
Exactly.
But regret it when something has happened and they don't have it. So if you do that, that's your first step towards risk management. Then you can see, okay, listen, these are the things that I'm scared of. I'm scared that this thing is going to be a power surge and load shedding. Load shedding equals power surge. In my area, we have a lot of wildfires. Then I need fire cover or hail. The very first step is you build your risk management, and if your broker looks at your risk management thing, and then you can see, okay, listen, how can you actually transfer your risk?
Thanks again, Liché Strydom, product developer at King Price Insurance. It was awesome to have you with me. Now from me, Donumdu, and our producer Megan van der Vent, and the rest of the Food for Mzansi team, have an absolutely amazing week. And I hope that this podcast helped you. And if you'd like to share it with your fellow farmers, friends, family, whoever, just pass it along. And do give us feedback. We love to hear from you. Bye for now.
Life in South Africa can be a lot. I mean, scroll through Twitter for a minute and tell me I'm wrong. Thank God for South Africans though, right? We're inspiring, and even on the bad days, we fight back with a smile. That's why I love Food for Mzansi so much. They're not ashamed to celebrate the ordinary unsung heroes who work every day to put food on our nation's tables. Go to foodformzansi.co.za and never miss an inspiring story.